What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Look at the Tape. I am your host, Jordan, and today we're going to be looking at the movie Warfare, 2025's Warfare, a A24 film. Am I wrong about that? I feel like I just want everything to be an A24 film. Trying to see. It's not telling me. Hold on. Was this an A24? I feel like it was. Yes, A24. See, I'll be right. I'll be knowing I'm at A24. A24. Yo, at A24, when I find out that something's an A24 film, not 100%, but it definitely influences me going to see it. Because A24, more oftentimes than not, will deliver. But anyway, A24's Warfare is what we're going to be talking about today. Oh, excuse me, where are my manners? What is this show about? This show, this podcast is the one where I talk about movies, old and new, what I like, what I don't like, yay and nay. So without further ado, let's look at the tape. All right, Warfare. I had all the information here, now it's gone. All right, overview of Warfare. A surveillance mission goes wrong for a platoon of American Navy SEALs in an insurgent territory in Iraq. Very vague. Yo, this movie started off real slow. Not slow. No. Excuse me. Not slow. Calm. In a sense. Let me tell you what happened. Okay? Also, where are my manners? This is my second episode. I'm still getting my feet together, y'all. But in the beginning, no spoilers. And when I'm ready, I'll let you know when we dip into spoiler territory. When we turn into the spoiler family. At that point, only my spoiler family. You got to see the movie to be a part of my spoiler family. If you ain't seen the movie, when we start talking about it for real, you got to be a part of my spoiler family. If you're not, you shouldn't be listening at that point. But you can listen now. Please. And when we get to that point, just stop listening. Go check out the movie however you need to. And then come back. And then you're a part of the spoiler family again. And then we just talk about it together as the spoiler. And that's it. But anyway, let me tell you what happened. Because this movie starts off with, and I'll tell you when we get to the spoiler part what it was. It starts off with something, and I was like, am I in the right room? Because that's like my biggest fear with going to the movies. As far as my movie experience is that I walk into the wrong room. I triple check everything. Because if something goes wrong, it's going to mess everything up. Okay? I look at my ticket, see where my seat is, and what room. I get scanned in, and then they tell me, you're in this room. And then I look at my ticket again. You can call me paranoid if you want to. I'm just making sure. I look at my ticket again. And I make sure I'm looking at the right door. I go halfway into the door and I back out and I look at the door again and make sure it's the right number on my ticket. Then I go in. Every time. You can call me paranoid if you want to. This is what I do. This is what keeps me safe because I haven't missed a movie yet. But let me tell you why I thought I was in the wrong. Because that's the biggest. If you're sitting there in the wrong room for your time, and you're sitting in the wrong room and you don't know, you're going to miss your movie. You're going to miss the beginning of your movie. You don't want to miss the beginning of your movie. You don't want to miss any part of your movie. So imagine being in the wrong theater. I get comfortable too. I got a whole setup. I got my popcorn, the icy, and I might just have the Raisinets. Yes, I said the Raisinets because the sweet and salty mixture is perfect for my movie going experience. You do your movie going experience the way you want to. If you want Sour Patch Kid, I don't care. I'm getting them Raisinets. I gotta have everything situated. I gotta have the popcorn to the left of me, the drink in the right cup holder, not the left, the right cup holder. Because my left hand is for popcorn scooping. My right hand is for picking up the drink. And then somewhere in between of the popcorn and my leg is where the Raisinets are gonna go. Because I'm gonna grab them with the left hand too. And I gotta put the feet up, and I gotta get the chair to go back just enough to where I'm comfortable and relaxed, but I can also still see the screen without having to like lean up on my own. So I gotta have the perfect position of feet up and back chair back. And once I have all that situated, I'm ready to go. Now imagine me doing all of that, and I'm in the wrong room. You know how devastated I would be? Heart would be broken. That's why I have to triple check everything. Because it hasn't failed yet. So I'm going to keep doing it. But this is why I say all that. Because in the beginning of this movie, it was showing something, and I was like, what? I was like, that's not what I signed up to come see. I mean, like, what? Like, that's not what this was. And then it starts panning out, and it shows you what's going on. And I'm like, oh, all right, I'm in the right film. I was like, this makes sense now. Okay, I got you. We'll talk about that in the spoilers, though. Anyway, this movie was exactly what the title is, what the title says. It was warfare. It was warfare. For real. Like, I've seen movies that like go into it like that. Like fully embrace the blood, the bombs, the smoke, the fire. And this is one of those films. And it's not a long film either. It's not long. It does take a minute for the action to start, though. That's what I was kind of saying in the beginning. Not slow, but at first it's calm. It takes a little minute, but once the action starts going, once the heat is on, the heat is on. But at first you're seeing these guys, like, just how they are together. You know, they're goofing off, but at the same time they're serious. But you know, it's a band of guys. A band of guys are gonna be a band of guys, no matter what's going on. Clearly, because even when they were walking out about to set up shop, they're goofing off. Before they get to their location, they're goofing off, but serious at the same time. I was like, guys are gonna be guys. A band of guys is going to be a band of guys. Goofy. And this movie shows that. They have personality on top of being serious. And I was like, okay, they feel real. I think this movie also gives the disclaimer that this is all based off of the pure memory of the soldiers, because this is a true story apparently. The pure memory of the soldiers that were actually there when it happened. So that means that these guys were legit goofing off whenever this movie set takes place. These guys were actually goofing off back then. So a band of guys will be a band of guys. And they just kind of just... can I say that yet? Not yet. I'll save it for the spoiler. I got to get better at what's spoiler and what's not spoiler, because I don't want to spoil anything too soon. I don't want to spoil stuff without letting it known that I'm spoiling. But without further ado, we're going to get into the spoiler part now. That little cut was there. A little technical difficulty. If you heard that little cut in the editing process, my bad. But yeah, no. Without further ado, we're going to get into the spoiler part now. If you haven't seen the movie, stop listening at this point, go watch the movie, and then come back, and you'll be a part of the spoiler family. But if you are still here, are you still here? Because I'm about to go in 3, 2, 1. Y'all are still here? We're spoiler family now? Okay, spoiler family, let's go. Okay, the part that I'm talking about in the beginning was the yoga class. I was like, yo, I didn't hear about any other movie that would have something like this in it. So I was confused. I was like, well, why am I looking at a yoga class? And then it starts panning out and you see the TV and they're watching the women in the yoga class. And then it made sense. I was like, okay, I got you. I was like, all right. It just had me for a second because I was like, am I in the wrong theater? I was like, I can't be. But then when it made sense, it made sense. And I was like, all right, got you. And then, not long after that, nightfall comes, and they're going to the house that they got to go to. They're going to their location where they're going to set up. And they're waiting. And the one dude looks at the other dude across the street, and he's doing like whatever dance or whatever from the yoga class. Yeah. The other dude looks, and he pauses for a second, and then he starts doing the dance too. And I'm like, yo, goofy. Like, they're being serious, but they're goofy at the same time. At that point, they were being a little more goofy than serious. But, you know, when it was time to move, they snapped right back into it, and then they went, and then they set up shop. So yeah, it takes a minute to get into the heat of the moment. Once it does, it does. When they start spotting the dudes on the roof, they're like, yo, there's one dude over there, and there's another dude with him with a red shirt. It's like, y'all seeing this? I said, yeah, we seeing it. I'm keeping an eye on it. And then they're switching out snipers. You know, yo, let me get up, let me stretch, whatever. Keeping an eye on it, and then they lose the sight. And then out of nowhere, boom! Whole room goes up, not in the flames, but boom! Grenade. Yo. Are they alive? What happened? Yo. At that point, stressed. I was like, oh man, they done died already. But they didn't. They didn't die. They got them out, but their equipment was still in there. But at that point, they started lighting them up. They started shooting in the house. Speaking of this house, they just took over this family's house and just held the family. They weren't going to hurt the family, but they just took over their house and held the family.